But let's go ahead, Laura, and get rocking and rolling. I'm going
Okay.
to, I hope I double clicked that. I'm going to share. You tell me if I did some, tell me if you can see. Okay.
So far,
so good. Does that look okay? To everybody out there, you can see my first slide?
I can see it.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Delisa, for letting me know that you can see that. So, Laura, I want to say that that is free. I love free resources, and we're going to talk about some resources that you may not be familiar with. We're going to talk about some resources that will make you look like a rock star, and will, most importantly, empower your students and get them future career ready. So what is the lose on this? It's a win-win.
Win-win.
So I don't know if you're familiar with C4C for computing, but we're going to talk a little bit about that today and what you can do with this in your own school and with your own counseling program. So you should see a little Kim and Laura emoji, and we always look a little tad more fabulous with our Bitmojis than in real life. Well, one of us do. And you know who that is. So if you can go to menti.com.
I'm going there now. And while we're going there, why don't we tell them who we are?
Okay. When you get to menti.com, please use this code 965213.7. Okay, Laura, you can tell us who you are, and you can feel free to make up anything that makes you sound more fabulous.
Well, my name is Laura Rakeborn, and I am a counselor in Coleman County. And Kim and I work together in Coleman County, not at the same school, but we are counselors together in Coleman County. We also do some things with Counselors for Computing. Like Kim said, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And we're just so excited and honored to be here with you guys today.
Okay, did yours load? Is anybody having trouble loading? Yep, mine did it now. I'm good. So my name is Kim Crumbly, and I partner with Laura with a podcast that we do called Counselor Accents. And so we enjoy talking to different counselors around the United States and leaders in our field and in education. So check us out there. But we love being a part of the C4C and the NCWIT family, and we've learned so much, and we want to be able to share some of what we have gleaned with you guys today and have some fun doing it. So it looks like we've got folks from all over, from top to almost bottom. Okay, gonna see where we are. Okay, there we're there. Gonna go back. All right.
And good job seamlessly going between the two.
Good, because I can't see anything. It's like I am drunk driving here. Go ahead, Laura.
All righty. Well, we told you we were going to tell you a little bit about NCWIT, and the National Center for Women in Information Technology is what that stands for. And it's a nonprofit community of 1,400 universities, companies, nonprofits, and government organizations nationwide that are all working together to increase girls' and women's meaningful participation in computing. NCWIT equips change leaders with resources for taking action in recruiting, retaining, and advancing women across the entire computing ecosystem. This is K through 12 through their career. Counselors for Computing, or C4C, as you may hear us say, is one of the programs in the NCWIT K-12 Alliance.
That's a mouthful to say. This is an amazing resource for school counselors, and we don't want you to miss out on this. So why are school counselors critical allies? Why are we, some people say, how is this our job? Do we have a video there from Angela?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so Angela, let me explain. Angela Cleveland is our actual boss. So when we talk about, she's the go-to girl, and she was Counselor of the Year. I'm not sure what year that was, but she is an amazing school counselor. And let's hear what she has while we're part of this. Okay, my video is not, it's not showing here. Is your video showing here? Laura?
I'm working on it.
Okay, I can't, the slides that were sent over do not have a play button here.
Okay, just a second.
Okay. Okay, so while she's working on that, school counselors, we see ourselves as in a unique, because we are in a place where we deal with so many different stakeholders. So our job is so unique to anybody else's in the school, because we're working individually with students. We're working with students in whole groups and small groups, along with the families, along with teachers and administrators, community members, school boards, all these different entities in education. We're a part of that. So we work systemically and we work individually. So we have a audience, and this is a conversation that we need to be having with all stakeholders in our audience. And NCWIT has materials that will help you do this and help you as you talk about the future and the careers of computer science with all of these different stakeholders.
Do you see my screen?
I do not. I have to stop sharing. Can I stop sharing and let you? Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Can you share your screen?
It says that I'm sharing. It shows that it's sharing on mine.
It's not. I think I have to leave. Let me see if I can leave.
Don't leave, because then you're leaving the whole thing.
I don't think so. Okay.
All right. Can someone drop in the chat and let us know if you see the CS4CTE window? And we'll play this video.
Hi everyone, my name is Angela Cleveland and I'm the Program Director of NCWIT's Counselors for Computing program. I'm excited to talk to you today about why school counselors are critical allies in the conversation to broaden participation in computing. So why school counselors? Well, school counselors are uniquely positioned in a K-12 ecosystem. They work with so many different stakeholders, from students, families, teachers, administrators, community members, school boards, and so many others. They also are the only people in the K-12 ecosystem who are working both individually with students and also on a systemic level to remove barriers. So teachers are primarily working individually with students, and administrators may be working more on a systemic level. But school counselors are doing both, and with so many different stakeholders. You may not be that familiar with the role of school counselors, so I'm going to share with you two key guiding documents from the American School Counselor Association, otherwise known as ASCA. The first one is the ethical standards. This quote comes from the preamble to the ethical standards, and it's the guiding document for school counselors. This gets at the heart of what school counselors do. They're focusing on equitable educational access and optimal learning environments for all of our students. They're social justice advocates who are working with not just that individual student, but working on a systemic level so that every student can access opportunities. The second document I'm going to share with you is the ASCA School Counselor Professional Standards and Competencies. This document is divided into two sections, the mindsets, which are the core beliefs, and the behaviors, which is how those beliefs look in action. So the first mindset is that every student can learn and every student can succeed. Period. There are no caveats to this. It doesn't say every student can learn and every student can succeed provided they come from a certain zip code and that they don't have a disability or any other challenges in their life. Every student can learn and every student can succeed. If they're not meeting with success, then we are looking at the barriers in their life, in our community, and in our educational system that is preventing them from meeting with success. The second mindset is that every student should have access to and the opportunity for a high quality education, and that means access to learning about computer science. The third mindset is that every student should graduate from high school prepared for post-secondary opportunities. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what the careers of the future will be, but we do know that the best way to prepare our students for careers of the future and sustainable careers of the future is by giving them the opportunity to learn about computer science. We know that computer science is changing every single industry. So no matter what pathway students take after high school, it could be a certification program, community college, military, or a university pathway, or some other pathway, we know that the best way to prepare our students for those pathways and for their careers is to give them the foundational knowledge about computer science. The second part of the ASCA School Counselor Professional Standards and Competencies are the behaviors. So I've only pulled out a few of these behaviors, but what I want to do is highlight how these behaviors connect with our goals to broaden participation in computing. These aren't above and beyond things for school counselors to do. This is the heart of what school counselors are doing. They are looking to create systemic change in areas such as course enrollment patterns. They're looking at equity and access. They're looking to close the achievement, opportunity, and information gaps for students. They're looking at career opportunities and labor market trends, recognizing that the skill sets that students are learning in their computer science classes are transferable across different content areas and across different career pathways. So how can you get started engaging with your school counselor? You can check out our Bitmoji resource tour by clicking on this link. Our virtual classroom is filled with exciting links to posters, resources, videos, and so much more. Feel free to click around and explore on your own. As you engage in conversations to broaden participation in computing, don't forget to reach out to your school counselor. As you can see, they're uniquely positioned. They work with so many different stakeholders. They work on that individual level and on that systemic level to remove barriers, and they care deeply about equity and access issues for all students.
So that was Angela telling us about C4C and why school counselors are critical allies. So I think I've lost Kim. This is our first time with this hop-in program. So we are just kind of learning it as you guys are too. I see Kim is commenting, but I don't see her here. So sorry about this, guys. All right, it says, Kim, let's see. Kim, can you share audio and video with the blue button at the top? Hey, perfect.
So I'm so sorry, guys. We're going to get through this. I apologize. So when we think of us as counselors having this power that we have to encourage girls and women and underrepresented groups to pursue computing, I mean, that's a significant power that we have to help remove barriers so that we give students this voice to be heard, especially the women and underrepresented groups, to have a voice to be heard in this tech industry. So what is computer science? A lot of school counselors are not even exactly sure what computer science is.
In a nutshell, here's the definition of computer science that we'll operate from today. It's posing a problem in such a way that a computer can help us solve it. And it does that through things like communicating, solving problems, designing, and imagining. Just like it says here, share, store, retrieve, manipulate, and secure information. Cybersecurity is the largest growing field in computer science. In fact, it has a 28% growth rate, but it has a very low representation of women in the field, only 11%.
So this is a picture of an art historian, Laura, who is using computer science plus what we call X. Whatever you're doing, X is the artwork that she's doing, art historian. So we're going to see how we use computer science in every aspect of life. So let's look at this video. This is a powerful video. Look for what surprises you in this video.
I think 19th century was about the Industrial Revolution, about electricity, about disrupting the agricultural society and making it more advanced. The 20th century was about physics and engineering to do more things easier in our everyday life, from refrigerators to washing machines. How convenient. And the 21st century is definitely the digital age. It's the internet.
Even if you want to become a race car driver or play baseball, or build a house, and all of these things have been turned upside down by software.
The lettuce bot is a robot that can sense its environment. Every single hour, this lettuce bot is seeing 1.5 million plants, and it's taking individual action on those plants. We enable lettuce growers to have higher yields in their field by helping make it cheaper, by helping produce food in a more sustainable way. And that wasn't previously possible without computer science and technology.
I have a really fun job where we build Polyvore, which kind of combines all my favorite things, so programming as well as fashion and art and design and shopping. Half the products you use these days are software products that you play with on maybe your phone. And so if you want to build something cool, you need to know programming, right? And there's so many things that you can do with computer science. So if you just work backwards from the cool thing that you want to build and figure out what that is, a lot of times computer programming is part of that, right? So you should learn the skill.
It's really exciting right now. The technology that we're developing right now is going to be used by your doctor in the next decade. When you come into the office and you're sick, and the doctor is going to be like, all right, spit in this cup. And I will put it into this magic machine, which is a sequencer. And in an hour, I can tell you what you have or what's wrong with you. So if we're looking for a new virus, for example, we'll download a database of all the viruses that are known. And we'll search for, our sequence of interest against a whole database of all viruses. So you still need somebody to analyze the data. The computer is not smart enough yet.
Our software helps people save energy and thereby reduce their carbon emissions. To date, we've saved over 8 terawatt hours, which is the equivalent of about 1.1 million cars on the road.
When you're forecasting the wind, there's so many different parameters that go into it. It would be impossible for a human to sit down and do all those calculations. We need a computer model in order to forecast it.
I write software which scans images, looking for bad images that we know are illegal. I work very closely with organizations like the National Center for Missing Children. I know that the work that we've done has impacted the life of people. And I feel very strongly about it because there's a lot of social problems right now that could really leverage the use of technology. It's a lot about empowering the people who are there helping the world by giving them the tools to be able to do better. That's something that we can do right now, and the tools available are huge.
The merging of art and technology is getting more and more significant now because computers and software are such an integral part of our lives day to day. People are realizing that it can be quite creative to take this medium of computers and create incredible works of art.
In Finding Nemo, when Crush and Squirt and all the friends are flying through the East Australian Current, you're seeing images of water flowing by, you're seeing the colors on the back of the turtle, you're seeing the sides of the fish. All of those things are generated through math and computer programs that we write that we then give to the artists, and they take that to create that final image and tweak it and make it look beautiful and look fun.
The crux of it is really about invention. It's about looking at the world and being dissatisfied with things and questioning everything.
I always felt like if I didn't learn how to program, it would be like not learning how to read. You know, the future would just be closed to me.
If you're in the coding profession, there's so many things that you can do, and you can pretty much pick and choose the course you want to be in.
I think that you can start something in your college dorm room, and you can have a set of people who haven't built a big company before come together and build something that 1 billion people use as part of their daily lives is just crazy to think about, right? It's humbling and it's amazing.
Really, it's about the chance to reinvent things and then see it out there in the world and see people using it and having fun or having a better life because of something that wasn't there before that you put in the world.
So that's a pretty cool video. And as counselors, it really makes you think about the world that we're living in. And I think that there's some the surprises of what we are seeing are quite different from adults to students, because students, some of those things that surprise us as adults, like, you know, the Pixar or the light up clothing or whatever, isn't quite that surprising for these students who have lived in this. But maybe seeing agriculture and how computer is changing the way we eat, or those kinds of things may be more surprising to them. One of the things that Laura and I did was we spoke to a group of would-be or soon-to-be counselors at a college in Florence, and we asked them to look at what all apps they have and what they do to solve problems for them. And that's a great question that I've done with students, and that's a great activity that you can do with your students. And they start looking at it and you think about all the things. It's your weather, it's your music, it's your clock, it's your map, it's your calendar, and apps solve problems. And that is getting them to think about, you know, how we use this in our everyday life and how this is going to continue to change our world and our life. That's exciting for students, and it makes for great conversation and great lessons with these students. So we're going to skip that since Laura spent so much time fumbling around. So sorry. Again, we apologize. So Laura, let's look at what we do know as counselors from ASCA.
Well, what we do know are the mindsets and behaviors for student success. This is K through 12 college and career readiness for every student, and it describes the knowledge, skills, and attitudes that students need to achieve academic success, college and career readiness, and social and emotional development. So when I look at these standards and I think about computer science and computational thinking, I look at how this is our wheelhouse, but computer science and computational thinking, we're teaching these students learning strategies. We are teaching them self-management skills, which is a continued focus on a goal, even though you may find obstacles. So when we look at these mindsets, I see self-confidence, that this has the ability to boost a student's self-confidence. I see that all of a sudden they have a belief in using their abilities to their fullest. And when you think about it like that, it all makes sense that this is the school counselor's job.
So, Laura, you and I love computational thinking because it helps so much in our day-to-day working with students. Because what do we do when they come to us with a problem? If you can think this way, it will help in so many areas of your life. So decomposition, an example that meets our standards is our demonstrate self-discipline and pattern recognition, abstraction, all these things. And you have real life examples here of how this meets our behaviors.
Right. So when a student, maybe if they don't know how to get to their class and they continue to feel concerned that they're going to stand out and everything like that, then you take them through this computational thinking and show them that they need to have a plan. They need to walk the same route and look for obstacles. And so that is a way of teaching a student computational thinking, which then you can tell them, hey, computer science actually does this for you as well.
And Laura, when we teach these things that are going to be essential skills for their future, in day-to-day working things out, that is computer science, and that is getting kids ready for the future, which is so exciting. So what is trending for 2022?
Well, the skills that you just mentioned with computational thinking connect with the skills that are in demand from employers according to this World Economic Forum. And Kim, I'm so glad you said essential skills, because they're not just optional skills anymore. These are essential skills for employing the 21st century learner. They also connect to the ASCA mindsets and behaviors. So teaching this computational thinking actually supports the work that we do with students as school counselors.
So now let's look at what we call, Laura, rubber meets the road. Here are some great graphs and data to show why computing is so important. They're the number one, computing is the number one source of new wages in the United States, with 500,000 open jobs in computing right now. It's the number one source of new wages in the United States, as you can see by this graph. But, Laura, we're not able to fill the need. We can only fill 61% of the 1.4 million computing jobs available by right now. So when we look at the percentage of women in CS careers compared to men, we need to be leveling that playing field, because we want everyone involved in this, including women and underrepresented groups.
And what we're seeing right now, and we have a graph that shows this in greater detail, but right now we're seeing that 18% of women are graduating with computer science degrees compared to 82% of men. So like Kim said, that is a staggering difference that we need to work on as school counselors.
So we're going to look specifically in just a second with a Menti meter. We're going to look at how this relates to Alabama and what our jobs are looking like, because that's why we're doing this today. This applies to us now in our state. So we've heard STEM, and some may say this problem is a STEM problem, science, technology, engineering, and math, but the STEM problem is in computer science. So this is a self-explanatory graph here. You've got 10% of STEM graduates are in computer science. 67% of all new jobs in STEM are computing. So anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, we have a computer science problem, not a STEM problem, when it comes to aligning between access to K-12 computer science education and opportunities in our modern economy.
So here's that graph you were talking about earlier, Laura.
So this shows the degrees that are being conferred compared to the available jobs. And then the dots that you see are the women or gender, that's broken down by gender too, getting degrees. So the dots are the women and the solid bar represents the men. The green shows the annual job openings, and the light blue shows the degrees conferred. So when you look across this graph, and Kim, you may explain it better than I do, but you see that we are graduating people in some fields where the green bar shows very little job opportunities. But if you'll notice right there in the middle, the job opportunities are off the charts. We had to stop it where it is, but it's actually going off the charts. But when you look at the degrees conferred in computer science, it's not even half of the available jobs.
And you know, as school counselors, parents and students are looking to us as, you know, for ideas and career opportunities. This graph is an amazing graph to share with your students and parents to show where these job opportunities are in STEM. So I want to go to a mentee right now. Let me see.
Do you have that code? If anybody happened to lose the code, do you have it again?
965213.7. If you could put that, and it should, if you could put that in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
If you can't, that's okay. It's 965213.7. Can you see this? What I'm looking at here, the average salary for someone in the computing workforce in Alabama?
Yes. All right, so let's go ahead and pick what we think the average salary is. Cast your vote.
Okay.
Thank you guys for sharing this in the comments, in the chat. You guys are just hanging in there with us, and we appreciate it so much.
Thank you for the grace. Thank you for the grace you're giving us after being off air for a little while. So yes, I think most folks got the income correctly, $86,870 average salary for someone in computing in Alabama. This is wonderful news to share with students who may be interested or may not even be thinking in this direction, but this may be something that they might be interested in. This is a great statistic to share. Let's do one more while we're on here.
All right, so you guys will go to menti.com and put in the code that everyone is sharing in the chat, just in case you weren't here whenever we got going with Menti. So cast your vote on this one. Kim, do you want to read it to us or explain it to us?
Well, according to code.org, how many open computing jobs unfilled are there in Alabama today?
Got some votes coming in.
Yeah, we do. And if you said, and it looks like several of you did, 4,225, you are right. And I think that number continues to grow as we have more and more companies that are moving into Alabama and having to hire from other states. So we want these jobs to stay in our state. And we as school counselors can be the heralders of this news because this is good news. There are job availabilities with that kind of income. So that's exciting. We're getting some good comments, Laura. If you see something you want to stop me, you just feel free. So the good thing about using NCWIT, Laura, and the C4C for counselors that we can use is that it's all data and research based, and that's exciting. Go ahead, Laura.
Well, it just shows we have quantitative data about the impact the community to go along with the qualitative. And you can see that here on this slide. Some of this comes from a recently released report titled Learning from Young Women, which we, I think it's linked in one of our slides for later. But members tell us that this community helps them feel connected, and it reinforces that there is a place in technical careers for women. It provides them with a diverse community of peers that they can lean on when maybe their local community isn't as supportive or as knowledgeable. And it provides both a safe place and a leveling effect that allows for honest and hard conversations to take place, which is really needed.
So, Laura, we want to shed light on the educators and the students who are doing great things in this field. So, NCWIT, and you can go to ncwit.org and look. By September 1st, they begin taking applications for awards in computer science, and there are several different awards for you to look at. So you want your students recognized and encouraged, especially these young women and underrepresented groups that can be encouraged, and others see that and they get excited about it, and we want to share that passion, and this is one way we can do that. Laura, anything else on that?
Well, there's also an educator award, and it's open to all formal and informal educators and administrators who have endorsed a high school application and are promoting gender equity in computing at the high school level. So we would love for some of you guys to apply and win. And you can say, I heard about it from Laura and Kim, and we will go accept that award with you if you ask.
Oh, I don't think anybody's wanting you to go accept the award with me. I'm going to be honest. So this is exciting. This is Amari I cannot say her last name.
No, you can't.
I can't. Stop. Crittenden, and we've heard her, so we should remember her last name, how to say it. But she's from Montgomery, Alabama, and she was the Alabama affiliate winner and then the national winner. So we want to hear. I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I love to hear from her. Yes, I think this is going to work.
Hi everyone, my name is Amari Crittenden, and I am a junior at Lamp High School in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm so excited to share with you all today my journey through CS. Before I discuss my academic pursuits, I'd like to tell you all a little bit about myself outside of the classroom. I am interested in photography and graphic design, as well as spending time with my friends and traveling with family. I would describe myself as an empathetic problem solver, and this is ultimately what sparked my interest in the intersection of computer science and medicine. With this in mind, I grew up around children in my mother's daycare, so it felt natural for me to be a pediatrician. So at a young age, I decided that entering the medical field would be the best way for me to be of aid to others on a large scale. Now you might be wondering, what does medicine have to do with computing? Well, I thought the same thing up until my freshman year of high school, when I was introduced to career opportunities in computer science by my career prep teacher, Mr. Roy Black. Mr. Black was very adamant about showing the interdisciplinary nature of computer science in comparison to jobs with which we were likely more familiar. Every day, Mr. Black encouraged his students to explore computer science through online resources such as code.org. While the CS games that I discovered through these websites were fun, I felt that the objectives of the games were frivolous and unexciting. And this led me to look up summer programs that would cultivate my understanding of computer science from a medical perspective. So I joined the Rosetta Institute of Biomedical Research in the summer of 2020 virtually, where I analyzed protein interactions using computer science. When working on a group project during this program, I was excited to see how collaborative computer science was, even in a virtual setting. Through this program, I saw firsthand the uniqueness of computer science in that there were multiple ways to code a program that would accomplish the same objective as the next person. In this way, problem solving in computer science allows for creativity. Looking back on my experiences, I think I would have benefited from more exposure to the interdisciplinary nature of computer science at a younger age. If I had known that CS could be a useful tool in advancing the medical field, I probably would have been more interested in pursuing it early on in my academic career. Ultimately, I had to take the initiative to seek out opportunities outside of school in order to gain a better understanding of how my interests were related to one another. To this end, I discovered the NCWIT award through a YouTube video that a former awardee made. So that just goes to show that with limited resources available to students, they could potentially be missing out on life-changing experiences. With that said, I think current school counselors could encourage more girls and underrepresented groups to explore computer science by establishing a CS-focused mentor-mentee system among elementary, middle school, and high school age girls in order to foster a support system with potentially lifelong benefits. In addition, counselors could work with volunteers to create a website with links to virtual and local opportunities in CS. In my own experience, exposure and access to CS programs and activities, as well as healthy encouragement, has helped me tremendously in my journey through computer science. By being named a NCWIT national winner, I have gained access to a Facebook group with a network of accomplished women who are always willing to take the time out of their day to provide support for my interests. The recognition was not my main goal in applying to this award. I hope that I inspire other girls in my community to get outside of their comfort zone and pursue computing. Looking forward to this summer, I hope to join the Code with C4C program and the Summer Science program to further refine my coding and bioinformatics skills before applying to college this fall as a computational biology major. I still have a long way to go, but I hope to see more girls from my home state following alongside me in my journey through CS. Thank you for your time.
So I absolutely love that video.
She's so inspiring.
And thank you, Dr. Gray, for giving that information that you gave in the chat. That's exciting to have Amari as the first national winner. And thank you, Dr. Gray, again, for all the information you give us and help your passion. It makes us excited to share this with other educators. So, so we really need to ask ourselves, when we know better, we do better. So when girls decide to pursue CS, we have to ask ourselves, are they getting the encouragement that they need? Is there a perception that we have about women in computer science careers? What is their self-perception? Are we exposing them? And that's what we can do as school counselors, is help expose students to these opportunities. And we hope that's what you gain from today. So again, it's what we should be doing. I won't go over that again because our time is running short, but it's what we're not talking about something that we're asking school counselors to do above and beyond. It is what we do already as school counselors. So we're just sharing career information, but it's so much more than that. When we look at that computational thinking, it's part of what we do every day. It's I think, Laura, when someone said it's like learning to read, computer science is the new, it's the new lit. That's right. So, Laura, anything you want to say on this powerful slide?
Well, I just think it goes right along with what you said earlier. Why school counselors, when you talk about self-perception and encouragement, boys receive more encouragement than girls. When you look at teachers, parents, media, and this is where you were saying it is the school counselor's job, and we need to be aware of how we are helping students with their self-perception and how are we encouraging them.
So this is a powerful graph that shows how much more maybe we encourage boys than we do girls to go into this career. So
I love this slide because this drives home the point of CS plus X. When you get students to talk about what problems they want to solve whenever they're older. We don't say, what do you want to be when you grow up? We ask, what problems do you want to solve? And when you start getting that information, that X in the variable CS plus X helps them see how computer science fits into whatever they want to do in the future, what problems they want to solve. And so this slide just kind of drives that point home.
And it's that's one activity that I do with my students is, what career are you thinking about going into? And we can all generally, most of the time, make that connection with computer science, with whatever they're already thinking about going into. So we think about during this pandemic, how technology has helped. We think about what we use every single day in our homes for for security or for heat or for air. Our roads are, everything. So everything and students love to talk about this. So you can bring that computer science into what they're already interested in talking about. Laura, this goes back to what you've already said. Mm-hmm. Don't ask kids what they want to be when they grow up. Ask them what problems they want to solve. And this has been an exciting activity that we've both used with our students. And it's always amazing what they come up with. You think that they're not creative, and let me tell you something. They've got a problem that they have already been thinking about. Okay. What problems do you want to solve? How can technology help you? So again, we touched on this earlier, but what's your favorite app? And what problems does this app solve? Great activity to do with your students. So Laura, anything else you want to add with that?
I think you covered that one really well.
So this is a fun activity to do with students. So I want you to explore all of these great materials that are available through NCWIT. I have used the code magazines with middle school students. I've used several of these things that are free. We love free, don't we, Laura?
Yes. We
love free things, and there's a lot of great free materials here. So use it. Use this material that's available to you. So Laura, we'll end with this. Can you read this?
Yes.
Can you see this to read it?
Yes. This is a testimonial from Nikita from Calvin University. And she says, during high school, I was discussing career options with my school counselor. She saw that I had been taking a lot of classes that utilized problem-solving skills as well as numerous art classes. So she suggested that I look into computer science as a career option. When I learned how computer science could be a great creative outlet for me, I decided to pursue it in college. I enjoyed my computer science classes, but I was still unsure about choosing computer science as a major until I got an internship in software development. By building websites, I'm able to think logically and analytically to solve problems through code while also being able to express myself artistically through tangible applications. So I think that's a prime example of the CS plus X combined with the computational thinking that we were talking about earlier, Kim.
I love that testimonial, and that's why I wanted you to read that. So that is the end of this presentation. Thank you guys again for being so very gracious as we worked through the technical errors. I blame Laura completely.
Interesting. I blame you.
Thank you guys. We appreciate what you do. You're appreciated. If you have any questions you want to put in the chat,
we'll call for Dr. Gray to answer them for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We hope, though, that you have been inspired to take this back to your schools and to, as the school counselors say, hey, I'm part of this, and I want to share what I know, and it's going to make such a big, big difference in your students' lives to expose them to this great, great opportunity.
Thank you, guys. Kelly, your story about your son, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. I don't know if this just ends or not, but one thing that I will say I share with my students, and Kelly, in light of what you had said about 2 years of college, I always share with my students that there are different jobs in computer science for different, years in college or different degrees in college. So that's always important for students to know.
And Ron is asking if he can get a link to this presentation again in the future. Do you know if Ron did it?
I am not sure, Ron. I will. It would be up to the powers that be, a little bit above us. So we can definitely ask, and we will ask and let you know.
I'm going to put I'm going to put my email down here. And if you want to just send me an email, then I'll find out how to get you a copy of this.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to let somebody else get on here as we're approaching the 11:15. So we're going to leave you guys, and thank you so much.